darlings, it's Michaela. So I am so excited to be talking about this topic, and it was very relevant for me last week and a half. I went to Maui for 10 days, which I feel like a lot of you are aware of because I was so public sharing images from it like every dang day because there were so many beautiful things and exciting things to share. So anyway, I wanted to make this video, and I actually encouraged my fat burners to come to it as well because they know a lot of this stuff. But what I also wanted to include in here was not just only a doubling down on the fact that like because you're away does not necessarily mean that you're going to be gaining weight, even if you're doing shit that is not like on script or helpful. But the other piece that I wanted to share for everyone is about how to get off the emotional roller coaster. And I think that, again, a lot of fat burners have achieved that, attained that, where they're just kind of easy breezy. They know their body works for them. But I just wanted to showcase that for everyone, sugar burners or fat burners that have not gotten there yet. Okay, so really we're going to be talking about four things, all four of my fingers. So we're going to talk about the thinking regarding like what helps us to not gain weight, to not be thinking, anticipating like we are going to be. Some solid strategy, and some of this is going to be like some basic bitch stuff and not. So stuff that maybe you have not heard before. I kind of assume that. We're going to talk about why it's better to be a fat burner always, but especially when you're on vacation, especially when you're like coloring outside of the lines. And then we're going to talk about how to not be on an emotional roller coaster when you're faced with indulgence and in fun stuff, and you're still either trying to lose weight or maintain the waistline that you currently have. Okay? So number one is thinking. And so one thing I want to say, and as like the queen of overindulgence, like self-sabotaging behavior, like completely, in for a penny, in for a pound, like, take my free will at the door. Oh, well, I'm here. As someone that is incredibly familiar with that thinking and what results from that, which is a ton of energy wasted and kind of like living in a loop, running in circles. The first thing that I want to say is like, you're not a child. And so what I mean by that is like dickish. Hi, Joe. Hi, my dear. As like dickish as that sounds for me to say, what that means is because you can doesn't necessarily mean that you should or that you even want to. Like as adults, we could stay up all night. Like we could stay up until dawn. Do you want to do that? Like because you don't have a bedtime or because you don't have to like get up for work tomorrow? Does that mean that you're going to kind of do something that actually feels shitty? That not only like does shitty things for your body, but that also feels bad? Like probably not. So I think I said something, I love my hair. I said something either on a video or to someone, but it's like, I'm me everywhere. Like, so it doesn't mean that we don't like take advantage of stuff, which is what we're going to talk about, but you're still you. And so I think number one, like I hope we keep ascending to the existence where we are good to us, where we are loving to ourselves, where we do things that feel good and are in alignment with what feels good, which is our truth, and what we ultimately want. So anyway, so with the thinking, it's like, ooh, I'm off the leash. Like you're kind of always off the leash. And so I think that's a good distinction to make to begin with, okay? Additionally, the goal is to have win-win situations and not regret. And so what that means, and I say this to my fat burners a lot, is have what you want and don't have what you don't really want. So if it's like, oh my God, like, yes, I'm having these like, you know, sexy island best, like Mai Tais. Yup. Do I want like a sample of ice cream at a place that also sounds pretty amazing, but like after a lot of indulgence, like after the day after, like totally overdoing it? No, like I'm not interested in that today. And so when we pick and choose, then it's like, what do I want to say? Then we create balance. And so one thing I'm going to say also is like, so I wrote down like having alcohol 2 days in a row. Like it's hard for your body to process that if we're starting to kind of create a backlog, you know, or like overeating multiple days in a row. So like for me, I had this like big ass meal, like totally overdid it. And it was like, yep, like that's exactly what I'm doing. Did I want to overdo it again the next day? No. And so I think something that is really useful to ingrain is that the majority rules. So because you're not perfect today doesn't mean that what you did the day before, which was quite moderate or quite supportive, it doesn't mean that that suddenly has no value. And if you're, again, a little like more self-respecting or, you know, moderate the day after that, it's like that helps to offset the overindulgence. And so I think that people lose sight of that, where it's like, again, in for a penny, in for a pound. Because I strayed, it means that I should just keep on going. And there is nothing further from the truth. That is absolutely crazy. All right? So even if you like totally freaking go for broke one day, the truth is, it's like you are repairing and offsetting things as soon as you stop. And so, this is something I feel like as a fat burner, because we have so much time when we're not eating, honestly, it's like the next day, it's like a whole new game, you know? It's like we have a clean slate. Okay, great. And so I just want to encourage people to think about that. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be doing enough right. And, you know, my greatest goal for myself, for my fat burners, for anyone else, for those who are listening to this, is when you have deviation, when you have indulgence, whether that's, you know, the holidays. Oh my God, I had like 3 birthdays in, you know, 1 week. Being on vacation, my whole goal is just for people to not gain weight, to like understand how to do that. And then we have times that are like, I can totally make a big impact and like create the body of my dreams. Like, you know, it's like, it's easy for me to do supportive things for however many days, and that's fantastic. But if we are deviating, my greatest wish is to not gain weight. And so when you have the understanding that size matters, that the majority rules, it's like you can start to see opportunities where you can create more balance. And because you did something that was excessive or like less ideal, it's like, okay, if you like, I don't want to say lay low, but if you like let the line out, I say that a lot with my fat burners, when it doesn't matter, I say this to them a lot, then it's like you just create more balance even when you have excess. Okay? So strategy. So this is something, what I'm going to say is, again, if this doesn't matter, then you wouldn't be here. But if it does matter, then it's good to just be a little more mindful. And again, mindful doesn't have to mean restrictive. It doesn't have to mean rigid. It doesn't have to feel like deprivation. It's smart. And so one thing that I think is really useful, I say this to my fat burners as well, it's like pick your battles, you know. And also here's another thing, leverage your strengths. So if you don't really care about alcohol, but you're like, oh man, I am so into all the like macadamia nut cookies, like I completely want to go on the ice cream tour of the island. It's like, then keep downplaying the alcohol and have food be a little more of a prominent thing. Or if like, you know, if it's easier to be in motion, or, you know, you'd rather like be sedentary all day. It's like, you know, but you don't snack. You know, you prefer to have like, what do I want to say? Like kind of substantial and, you know, less refined carbohydrates in your meal. It's like, okay, great. So wherever you know that what's easy for you, do that and know that that has merit. It's not like because we do one thing that's unsupportive, it doesn't mean that it blows everything else out of the water. All right. You want to keep up the shit that is supportive, that is healthy, that you know that serves you well. All right. So being deliberate, look at your trip. And so it's like, you know, again, if it's like, whatever you want, honey, like, sure, we're going to go to the rum plantation, you know, the distillery, and then we're going to go on this like sugar cane and you eat everything tour. Like, if that's what you want, then great. But if it's like, you know what, I really want to go to this restaurant. Oh my God, I heard that they like, you know, have a vineyard on the volcano, and I would love to have like, you know, heavy mineral, lava rock, soil wine. Like that sounds so fun. So then it's like, okay, let's prioritize that. And so then if it's like, do you want to go out for ice cream before we go there? Do you want to, you know, like again, eat all the baked goods that's in this pastry shop that's down the street? Like maybe not today. Like maybe I don't want to do that today. And so if you look at your time, wherever it is, it's like, just pick and choose like what's most desirable and make that happen. And the shit that's not that desirable, like maybe you like kind of opt out of that, or you make it less of a big thing in your day. And so what I'll also say, and I've said this to other fat burners, you know, it's like looking at vacation. It's like, you know, what are the days you're going to be by the pool? You know, your children really want this thing. It's like, when are you going to have ice cream? When are you going to have like cocktails on the beach? Like, where are these things? And so if you start to just like get a little bit of a schedule, and again, like if it doesn't happen to a T, that's totally fine. But the thing that's also good about this is it ensures you make sure what you want happen. And it also helps you to see where you might not want other things to happen. All right, I'm just gonna say that. Movement is always helpful. Lots of people, they go on vacation, certainly if they go to like a city or a European city, they're walking a ton. And it's like, use it, it's good, it's helpful. You know, if you can use a car less, if you can take a taxi less, that matters. It is really helpful. And it's certainly helpful to move after you eat. All right. So it's like walking in the morning, dancing at night. And so it's like, if that's something that's of interest to you, that's so fun. Or if it's like, you know, we're going to wander down this boardwalk, that sounds so fantastic, but just know that that is useful. Okay. And so like, we're not going on like a death march, like every day to try and like work off of our, you know, whatever, Mai Tais, but it matters. And so again, the majority rules. So if you keep putting drops in the bucket that are supportive, you will make an impact. All right. And then I just wrote down like relegating the crazy to like certain days / fewer days. You know, something that I think is really useful is recognizing like just what you really want, and a choice makes a bigger impact than just that moment. And I'll talk about this in a second, actually. So you know, if you making one meal a day, kind of like the big deal, not all meals. This is another fat burner tactic, which is just like typically dinner is the thing. You know, it's like, are we all needing to be present and having like a large meal for breakfast? Like probably not. You know, is lunch something that's more kind of incidental and like just when we're out? Generally, typically it's dinner that really matters. And so what I'm going to suggest is make dinner matter and make those other things matter less. And so whether that's as fat burners, not eating some of them, that's easy for us to do, to have coffee, to have bulletproof coffee. Or if you're a sugar burner and it's like, yep, I'm going to have breakfast, but I'm going to have, you know, just like eggs or yogurt, and I'm going to have like a salad for lunch, and I'm going to have whatever the heck I want for dinner. And it's like, that's a good way to go. Once again, you do not need to be perfect, but if you're always trying to maintain like a little bit of balance by just offsetting indulgence, you're going to be in a better position. All right. And then one thing I want to say also, if you're ever facing something where it's like, ooh, shit, like, of course I want donuts, you know, like, of course I want cookies like every day. Of course I want that. What I would encourage you to do if you're conflicted is to remind yourself that you're going to have that thing tomorrow, tonight. Ooh, my God, it's Tuesday. We're going to have that on Thursday. I'm so excited for that meal. And so I feel like I'm just sharing a ton of fat burner thinking, because this is what we do, which is like not now, later. It's never no, it's just later. Okay, like, so I, you know, there's always a place for it, because when we tell ourselves no, that's when we're gonna have these fuck it moments, all right? And then it's like, let's tear the house down with all the cookies that we have been wanting and now eating. And then the other thing I'll just say, there are a few more things. Don't snack, super simple, even just have the thing with the meal, all right? And so that can just avoid like, we're gonna taste ice cream. Like, again, if you really want it, have it. But if it's like, you know what? I'm not hungry, I'm actually feeling kind of full from lunch, like, I don't need this. You know, I felt like my suit was a little tight. I don't need ice cream again today. Like, I'm gonna have something, a dessert with dinner. Like, that sounds good. And so that's just a really smart tactic to not snack in general. That keeps calories lower and it keeps insulin out of our system more. And so what that means is you have the ability to have weight loss be easier, more access to your energy in general, and a harder time storing weight. And then also you don't close off your own fat from being used for fuel. Okay, it's useful. Some basic stuff that, like, I'm sure is customary, but I'll just remind you, when you're eating your meals, you want to have fiber, fat, protein, or an acid like vinegar, citrus juice before you get into the carbohydrates. So even if it's a few bites of chicken or beef or avocado or, you know, leafy greens or vinegar on something, lemon juice in your water, even if you start to get into that and have a few bites and then have your carbohydrates later, you will be in better standing for your blood sugar, and generally you'll just have less room for those carbohydrates. Plenty of protein. Most restaurants, you know, kind of have a moderate amount in a traditional meal. Carbohydrates are still the biggest thing. So if there's any doubt, I would like get extra protein. That's what I do at restaurants. And so, especially if you're eating once, it's like your needs remain. And that can just be a useful tactic to make sure you get full and stay full. If there's any question about that. And then I'm gonna say this, if it's possible to skip a meal here and there, once again, depending on how many meals a day you eat, But if it's like, I'm full, or I'm not hungry, or, you know, we're gonna have dinner early tonight, or we're gonna have, you know, lunch late. It's like, do I need to have this other meal? Like, if you do, have it. But if it's kind of like, well, we woke up late, do we actually need breakfast? Like, it's not too far from lunchtime. Not the worst idea in the world to skip it. Again, if you're comfortable. That will just make your body more insulin sensitive. And again, it'll just reduce your calories for the day. I want to talk about alcohol. And so this is something, I hope this is so riveting for everyone who watches it. So alcohol, a few things, how to do it better. Once again, it's not this like, because I'm having a drink, of course I'm going to gain weight. It's like, be smart about this. And what that means is, when you drink alcohol, make sure you're having a glass of water with every alcoholic beverage. And so we probably all know to do this, but the reason why you want to do that is because of detoxification. So alcohol is poison. Alcohol, the poison that alcohol is, will put fat metabolism on hold until it is metabolized. So a way to help in that metabolism detoxification process is to drink more water. So the more water you drink, or at least a glass with every alcoholic beverage, you will help your body process that faster. Your body needs water for the detoxification process, okay? A supplement that's really useful. So fat burners use a particular liver supplement, which is amazing. Detoxification impacts weight loss. This helps us to get poison out of our bodies faster, as well as many other beneficial things. But another supplement that could be really useful, I always take it when I have alcohol, is activated charcoal. And that is something that basically charcoal binds to toxins and helps take them out of the body. So don't take this around medication. Don't take this around your vitamins, because it'll help pull that stuff out. So an easy way to take activated charcoal is just at the end of the night, even before bed. And so taking at least one capsule per drink. And honestly, like I like take a bunch at once, but lots of water for that as well. Additionally, electrolytes are super useful. And so part of the impact of alcohol is from being dehydrated and also having a mineral imbalance. So that can make us feel crappy, but it can also make us feel hungry, especially at night, which is typically my downfall. But if we have electrolytes, if we have more water, that is something that can just like right our ship and help us to feel better the next day and help us to not be hungrier, needing more food when we just had like more calories with that. Another thing I want to say that I think is actually really useful to recognize, which is, am I drinking for impact or taste? So this is a little bit like a fat burner thinking, which is, am I eating for fun or am I eating for fuel? So if you're drinking for impact, that means you're drinking to feel something. And so what I'm going to encourage you to do is to kind of get there the fastest way. And what that means is, like, the best liquor to drink is clear, heavily distilled spirits. So vodka, gin, tequila, with no calorie mixers, or like, you know, having it dirty with a brine, or dry white wine or dry sparkling wine, cava, prosecco, champagne. And so I'm gonna attach at the bottom of this video in the comments, I'll put a video that I've made called How to Drink Better. And essentially it's how to amplify the impact of alcohol that you're drinking. And what that will do is that will actually make you feel something faster without having to drink more. It's such a useful tactic. Essentially, it's like how to feel buzzed faster without drinking more, or without actually drinking faster. And that's really smart. So that's like smart for your waistline once again. And you'll actually be able to feel more faster, and you'll actually feel less faster as well, which is useful. But anyway, so if we're drinking for impact, then we are thinking about basically like a purer product that has less garbage, less calories along with it. And that's like the no calorie mixers. If we're drinking for taste, then that's where like the high calorie cocktails go in. So like on my trip, I had lychee martinis, which I think are fucking amazing. And I had Mai Tais for the first time, which were like, boom, like powerful. I needed one. I had two. And that was like it was fine, but I didn't need that much. Lychee martinis, like 2, yes please. That was freaking amazing, like juice. But anyway, like a cocktail martini is typically like 200 some odd calories. And again, it's like, if you love it, you want it, yes. But if we're drinking for impact, if we're just like having a good time, and we're not just like, so excited about espresso martinis or whatever it might be, that's what I like. Then it's like, let's downplay both the calories and the toxins that are in this alcohol. Okay? Once again, you do whatever you want, but being a little more mindful can make a really big impact. Okay? Number 3 of our topics here, or our points, why it's better to be a fat burner on vacation. Like, Jesus God, I'll just like rattle this off. We are using our own body fat for energy. And so what that naturally means is we rely less on food and more on our own fat. And so it's just really easy for us to be less hungry and to eat less often, which positively affects insulin once again, which is responsible for weight gain. And we have, plenty of energy. And so it's just so useful. I'll say that, for example, like what's awesome about being a fat burner for like a million things, one-stop shop for like your health and your waistline, slows aging, yes please. So on my travel days, I chose to fast. And so it was like all day, like 36 hours is what I ended up with, because it was convenient. And so for the way there, I had more time in the sun. I left at 6 a.m. here and I arrived at like 4 p.m. there. But basically it was like, I don't want to have to like figure out food. I don't really want to eat on the airplane. Like, I don't want to eat, like we were fed 4 times. We had 2 meals and 2 snacks. And it's like, do I want like pizza twists and cookies and like an egg sandwich and chicken or pasta? Like, yes. And do I really want to eat that stuff? No. So it was convenient. And then my unknowing decision was that this was actually going to get me to not have jet lag, because when you fast for longer, your body creates more energy from the ketones that you're making from breaking your own fat down. So it was such a useful tactic. And then I used it on the way back. Once again, now this was like through the night. I had more time in the dark, but again, it was like, I just didn't have to think about it because I was comfortable and had plenty of energy. It was like hard to sleep, which was crazy. And I had 1 hour of sleep Wednesday to Thursday, and then I functioned all day on Thursday. I worked with clients, and then I like died at 9 at night, and slept for 13 hours. And that was like, perfect, thank you, back on track. So I bring this up, fat burners know this, like the convenience of not being hungry all the time, not having like blood sugar issues when they go beyond, 3 or 4 hours without food. We're just fine. And so it just puts more choice and power in your lap, honestly, more freedom and flexibility. It's awesome. Why else is it better to be a fat burner while on vacation? We are more insulin sensitive. And what that means, like every time we eat, we keep more of the food as energy and we store less of it as fat. And so this makes it easier to lose weight and harder to gain it. So we could be eating the same dang meal as our friends and family at this sexy restaurant, and we are literally storing less of it and using more of it, and we are having a harder time gaining weight. We have an easier time losing weight too. So it's like, it's great. It's super convenient and it's good for our health. And then the other thing I want to say, which I need to do like more research about and talk more about, but basically as a fat burner, our body turns more of our white fat brown. And what that means is it makes it easier to lose. So if you've yet to like come to, Planet Me, being the evangelist about fat burning, everything we do is so useful. Like everything we create is so beneficial from our behaviors. So it's like, oh, and because of the fuel that we create, the nature of burning fat, of creating ketones, it actually makes white fat brown. And what that means is, or beige, it puts more mitochondria in our fat and it makes it easier to burn. So not only do we have more access to our fat, but it's easier for us to burn it in addition to for all these other reasons, but it's also because we are making our white fat brown. White fat can be harder to break down, harder to lose, and we make it easier simply by the fuel that we're both ingesting and creating. Additionally, when we create fuel, basically when we turn our white fat more brown, beige, essentially what's really awesome, difference between a fat burner and a sugar burners, because of the presence of insulin, they conserve energy. So that's why they store most of their food. They store more of their food as fat, put it in muscle, put it in the liver, but as soon as there's no more room, it's in our fat. And the energy that is created is for work. So it's for movement. For us, for fat burners, we are actually more wasteful with energy creation. So we make heat more easily. This is the brown fat element. White fat makes us fat. That's like the jiggly, I can pinch an inch stuff. And brown fat makes us warm. So and again, I feel like I need to become like the expert on this little silo. But essentially in our energy creation, we actually create more. We create more than just what we need for work. We actually create an excess. We waste energy in the form of heat. So as a fat burner, once again, you have this advantageous setup. So it's not even like, well, we're going to just, we only need this much energy, so we're going to take it from fat. It's like, we need this much energy, but we're creating that much energy because the nature of our makeup, the nature of our fuel, and what it does to our fat is to waste energy. And one thing I just want to say is, if you've had the experience like overeating, I know fat burners have this, and it's like our body temperature goes way up, and it's like it's our body wasting energy versus storing it. So it's like sweating, like, oh my God, I'm so hot. And it's like, I just overate, but I can't keep it all. And so it's like the body is wasting this energy as a means to get rid of it because it like doesn't need it, can't have it. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. And once again, this is like another little like track of information that we naturally do, that I want to get even more, even better versed with. But as a fat burner, we waste more energy in the form of heat. Thank you so much. And then the final point, I hope this is like so riveting for anyone who joins or listens to this, is the no more emotional roller coaster piece. And so I wish this, again, there's a lot of fat burners who are like easy peasy, like cool as a cucumber. They got it, no problem. Like, yep, no big deal. You know, it's like I had bagels yesterday and pasta today, and like, then I fasted, or, you know, I had prime rib and I'm happy as a clam. But the big thing that I want to help anyone with who wrestles with this is to get off of this thing. The push-pull, like I want this, I don't want this, the self-harming stuff, like, you know, fuck it, I'm just going to go for broke. Oh, and then I'll like get back on the wagon. I really wish to help more people not be in this, this mental state and this, to go through this energy wasting process. So one thing we do as fat burners is we have these crossroad negotiations. And so basically what we do, what I encourage anyone else to do, is to give yourself a moment. So when you're faced with something, give yourself a minute. And so the question is like, do I really want this? And how you decide is by weighing the impact of the choice. It's like, am I going to feel uncomfortable? Fuck. You know, I have my bikini shoot tomorrow. Do I really want to be bloated for this? Fuck, no. You know, it's like, I told, you know, I have an accountability partner. I, you know, promised my son that like we were going to go out for ice cream tomorrow. Do I really want to like have this and go out for ice cream tomorrow? Like, no. Or all the repercussions, it's like, oh my God, I have never had, you know, sashimi made by what was his name? At Nobu, Morimoto. Like, would I like to try all this stuff here, even though I'm full? Yes. Like, I'm so excited about this. And so if the answer is yes, just make yourself right. So establish like the agreement that you're making with yourself. Yes, you know what? I am so fucking full. Like, I'm just going to tone it down tomorrow. Like, everything's cool. Or like, you know, I'm not having this. And this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to have ice cream with my son. That sounds so great. But making yourself right is the thing that kind of gets us off of this. And then if the answer is no, if it's like, you know what? I don't really want all this shit. Like, I am stuffed. This does not sound amazing. Like, I'm actually more excited about what we're doing tomorrow or what we're doing in 2 days. Then the way to stay committed to that is to simply stay focused on the ultimate goal. And so like why it's not worth it. So if we say we'll do one thing and then we keep looking at the thing that we're saying we're not going to do, this is really easy in a bar. If you're like, I'm not going to have a drink, and then it's like, ooh, that looks really good. Oh, crap. Man, oh, I love lychee martinis. Shit. And if we keep thinking about it, if we keep focused on it, we will buckle and fail. But if we stay focused on what we want, I want to feel good later tonight. I don't want to overeat again. Like for me, typically I want to like eat again after I drink alcohol. So it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to feel good tomorrow. I want to not be like puffy tomorrow for my bikini photo shoot. Like, we have a big night out in 2 days, like, I know I totally want blah, 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 then that's going to be so much better. You know, I'm so proud of myself. This is so, like, I'm totally interested in this. Like, I'm happy with what I'm doing because of all the shit that I'm getting. Like, I'm losing weight tonight. Like, I've been looking and feeling amazing. I don't want to speed up aging. I don't want to have less fun in general. These are things that alcohol actually does. You know, I don't want to put poison in my body. I don't want to just have all these extra calories. I don't want to tax my liver. I don't want to put my weight loss on hold. And so when we think about both what we want and what we don't want, it's just easy to stay solid. Okay? So that's it. And I'm realizing that was probably a lot. All right? Watch this whole thing. Thinking, strategy, why it's better to be a fat burner on vacation as well as every other time of every day, and how to not be on an emotional roller coaster. You know, I think that my greatest wish, once again, is like to make fat burners for life, but to make health and harmony kind of like the way we live. So my goal is to help people understand more about how they work so they can have more of what they want. And so when we understand that, then all we see is logic. And again, it doesn't mean that it's like, I don't snack, but suddenly I'm eating cookies, you know, in the afternoon, like at a roadside stand, like in Maui. Like, yeah, I guess I am doing that, but it was deliberate. And I guess that's the greatest wish. So when we both understand how we work, and then we're simply just like intentional, and that could be like to eat a large cheese pizza like by yourself on a Tuesday night, like it could be that, or it could be, you know what, like I'm gonna eat early, I'm gonna go to bed early, because I want blank tomorrow. Anyway, so I think when we understand more about how we work and we see the logic and we make the choices that just help us to have more of what we want, it's like then we start to feel in control, really, and not like we're in this kind of haphazard, you know, sea of like flesh and fluids. And we get to have more of what we want, and we get to look good and feel good and function well. All right? I hope that was great. Please be in touch for any reason. If number 3 was enticing to you regarding why it's better to be a fat burner on vacation as well as any other place, and you're a woman over 40 who would like to lose 8 to 15 pounds in a month, please be in touch. Going through a mitochondrial reconstruction, which is what we do, makes weight loss so much easier, and it makes life so much easier. So it helps with estrogen balance, it helps with insulin sensitivity, it helps slow aging, gives us more energy, makes weight loss easier, weight gain harder. It's amazing. And it's all possible in how you're made to run, which is exciting. And with that, it feels easy and comfortable. So I'll attach that video, How to Drink Better, and I'll attach our sugar quiz should you wish to check that out. That's a good step for people that are curious to see what fuel they're burning predominantly, which can just illuminate a lot. All right, that's it. I hope this was amazing. Please be in touch for any reason. Love to all, and until next time.